Hello everyone. So today I'm going to discuss about the most common issue or error that most of the Salesforce developers face. The issue is mixed DML operation error. So we'll discuss about this issue, what it is and how we can resolve it. So the mixed DML error is generated when a user performs DML actions on setup and non-setup objects in the same transaction. So here is the list of setup objects basically, which are nothing but user profile, territory, permission set, assignment. All these are setup objects, and there is a limitation in Salesforce that you cannot perform a DML operation on setup and non-setup objects in the same transaction. So apart from all these setup objects, all other objects are non-setup objects like account, contact, opportunity, and all. So I will try to reproduce this issue with a real scenario where you can see this issue being occurred and how we can resolve that as well. So let's go to my Salesforce org. I have already written a code that will be responsible to perform that error, and I will also write a code to how to resolve that error. Okay. So here the situation or the scenario is like whenever the opportunity record is updated and its stage is moved to closed one. So at that time, we have to create a task record for that related to that opportunity, and at the same time, we have to assign a permission set to the owner of that opportunity. So there are two tasks that needs to be performed as soon as the opportunity is moved to closed one stage, and that is creation of task record and assignment of permission set to the owner of those opportunities. So here I will go through this code to make you understand how the logic is met. So first of all, we iterate over the newly updated opportunity records here, then check whether the stage is closed one, and also at the same time we are checking that the old value of the stage is not same as the new value of the stage, just to make sure that the opportunity has been updated with the stage name changed to closed one from any other stage. So previous value should not be the closed one basically. This is just to make sure. Now we are creating a task record, adding it into a list, and then we already queried the permission set that needs to be assigned to those users. And the name of the permission set is CMM permission set. This is the one. I want it to be assigned to the owners of the opportunity. So what am I doing is I'm creating a permission set assignment object or instance, and then providing the owner ID or the assigned user ID to whom this permission needs to be assigned, and then providing the ID of the permission set, which permission set needs to be assigned. Then adding it into a list, and then at the end of the code, I am inserting the task records and the permission set assignments records. So you see, this is the now setup object, and this is the setup objects. Both of them are being inserted in the same DML in the same transaction. So we'll just reproduce this issue to see from our own eyes. What will I do is I will try to just update the stage of this opportunity from needs analysis to closed one so that it meets the criteria of our code and the logic runs. Let's try to save it. See, there is an exception over here. System.dml exception insert failed. First exception on row 0. The error is mixed DML operation. So DML operation on setup object is not permitted after you have updated a non-setup object or vice versa. So it says that you cannot perform DML operation on setup object and non-setup object at the same time. So this is the major issue which we as Salesforce developers usually face. So I will now help you how we can resolve this issue, how we can overcome this issue, because there can be scenarios in our day-to-day development that we have to perform DML operations on both setup and non-setup objects, but we can differentiate the transaction. We can make a different context. So here what we will do is we'll insert the task within this trigger context, and we will insert the permission set assignments in a future method that will run as a separate context. So in this way there will be a difference in the transaction. So there will be two separate transactions running parallelly. So what how we can do is I have already created a class and created a future method over here which will accept the IDs of the users for whom we want to assign the permission set that we receive from the trigger itself. And here also, here we are performing the same logic what we have done in the trigger, that is retrieving the permission set, then assigning the permission set to those all those users, and then inserting the permission set assignment list. See, the same operation we are doing over here as well. So this is the future method created in a separate class. We will just call it from the trigger itself, and we will remove all those parts which are not needed over here, because we will no longer be inserting the permission set assignments here in this particular piece of code. Here we'll only insert the task lists and then call the future method to insert the permission set assignments. But in order to provide the user ID in this method, I have to pass it from here. So what will I do is I will just create a set of ID which will hold the ID of the owners of the opportunity, that I have to pass from this method itself, from this trigger itself. So we'll just keep adding the IDs of the owners into this set. Now, in this particular trigger context, what am I doing is I'm checking the condition when I have to create the task and the permission set assignments, then adding those tasks into a list and passing the owner ID into this set. Now, what will I do is I'll just call my future method inside that trigger, which should run in a separate context. This is the name of the future method, and I need to pass these IDs as the arguments or parameters. See, my code is now modified. Let's save this. Now currently see, this permission set has no users assigned to it. There are no users, and also there are no related tasks associated with this opportunity. Let's try to invoke our trigger again by changing the stage from needs analysis to closed one. Save it. One task should have been created. See, whatever the subject we have put over here, follow-up task, that subject has been inserted into this particular task. And also, if we just refresh this permission set assignment, we should see that this permission set is assigned to this user, who is nothing but the owner of that opportunity. You see, I am the owner, so this permission set has been assigned to me. So this is the best way one can overcome this issue, that is mixed DML operation error, by separating the context or the transaction. So if you want to see where your future method is running, then you can, in the setup you can search for Apex jobs. So it should come here as a parallel transaction. See, one future method has been executed, whose name is, the class name is utility class, and the method name was assign permission. So this is running separately and my trigger was running separately. So both these transactions have been separated, due to which we are no longer facing that mixed DML error. So I hope this video was helpful. Thanks for watching.